and skills in food processing, quality control, and packaging. She is the founder and CEO of Fresh Fair HQ, an agri-tech setup that uses technology to mitigate food waste and post-harvest loss along the supply chain. She is also a sales and marketing manager at John-Agbo Limited, an European agro-allied company that provides innovative solutions for livestock agriculture sector. She has multiple certifications in project management, business expansion, and social impact. I thought you'd be clapping. And she's proficient in customer relationship management, communication, presentation, and digital marketing. She's a motivational and driven leader, a keynote speaker, a UN SDG advocate, and an AU climate innovator. She currently pursues a Master's of Business Administration in Procurement and Global Chain Management. Wow. Please, everyone rise up and welcome Sheila Moore.
Thank you so much. I mean, she just inspired me before I inspired you. She literally called me Dr. Sheila Moore. Was that a mistake? But I like it anyway. I like it. I'm not a doctor yet, but now you've inspired me to actually do more studying, and maybe become a doctor someday. Anyway, it's such an honor to be here. I don't have any slides because I actually made it so, because I want to share from a very, should I say, deep and real point of view. I'm going to be talking about nurturing your idea, your startup, your business, from the point where it's a baby to a point where it grows to something special, right? So I intend that this be a very interactive session, because I'm not much of a lecturer. So I'm going to make it as interactive as possible, and we'll just take it from there. So how many of us are entrepreneurs in the building? Everyone. Amazing. I want to hear as much as possible. So what do you think an entrepreneur is? Just one word. Describe who an entrepreneur is in one word. I want to hear as many words as possible.
A sole proprietor.
A sole proprietor. Okay. Any more words? A creative person. So an entrepreneur is a creative person, is a sole proprietor, is a problem solver. Amazing. More words, more words. A risk taker.
Yeah.
An innovator. Alright, so Nigeria as it is becoming difficult for most of us to live in, and that's why we've seen that a lot of people are, running away at this point in time. But I always tell young people like myself that running away can be the solution to that problem for a lot of people, but for most of us, running away might not be the solution. Now, I work with a European agro-allied company in Nigeria, in Ibadan, and I tell you that the key players in agribusiness as far as livestock rearing is concerned in Nigeria is actually led by the Europeans. Isn't that funny? That we are running to the European countries and they are coming in to our country in their large numbers. As I tell you today, the Lebanese community in Nigeria is up to 2 million. You won't believe it, because I was opportune to attend one of their, what's it called now, end of year parties, and I saw an entire nation living in Nigeria, feeding off of our resources, making a fortune and building their lives here and even in their own countries. And it's not just Lebanon, it's Israel. There are lots of Israelis here, there are lots of Ukrainians, a lot of Russians. I mean, they're just everywhere doing big businesses. In agriculture, in agri-tech, in fintech. You may not be aware, but Africa is a gold mine, And that is why I encourage entrepreneurship. It can be anything. It's just like sowing a seed, right? It can be whatever little thing at all. But so far as you diligently work and nurture that seed, definitely that seed is going to yield itself one day. Now, my story. I founded an agri-tech startup, which is about just 10 months old, really. But in this 10 months, we have done amazingly well. It is unbelievable. And this is why. Now, before you begin your journey onto entrepreneurship, you don't just, you have to identify what drives you, what problem you're going to solve. I'm going to go one step back again. There are several problems in Nigeria, and my father would always tell me this. I love this. He'd tell me that when you solve a problem, then there is no limit how rich and wealthy and successful that you'll be. So when there is a problem, an entrepreneur should see opportunities, right? Like limitless opportunities. Now, with all the problems in Nigeria, we can't even exhaust the number because the list is endless. Now, pick one problem, think about it, be innovative about your solution, and people will always buy that solution. We're a solution-driven economy because, too many issues, right? So, number one, the weather is very hot. Now, maybe you've decided that I'm going to get a raffia palm and design a very nice fan. I don't know. But it's a problem that you're solving, and people are going to buy that solution. Now, my team and I identified a problem, which was food waste and post-harvest loss. Nigeria has no business being one of the poorest nations in the world. Nigeria has no business being one of the countries where there's a lot of hunger and a lot of people living below poverty line. We have so many resources, right? And so much food is produced every year, yet more than a third of that food goes to waste, right? And I thought that how could we, as young people, curb that menace of food waste and post-harvest loss? And that was how Fresh Fair Limited was born. That is the startup that Agri-Tech startup I was talking about. So what we do is we are leveraging cold chain technology to, combat food waste and post-harvest loss. So we were thinking, it's an entire story, there's a lot of lessons, so I'm just hoping that you don't miss them as I share the story. So when we started, after ideating for 1 year, we had this idea and we thought about it for an entire year before we made the first step of becoming a company, all right? And that is one step, problem identification. We identified a problem and then we thought of how to solve the problem. That was strategy. Okay, who is going to help us drive the vision? A team. So initially it was just me. I had this idea, it was huge and very capital intensive. I couldn't do it alone because I don't have all the money, right? And I don't have all the expertise. And then I had to tell a few friends, I think you're really good with this. This is an idea that I have. Would you love to be a part of this? I think it's beautiful, we can actually work it out together. Now you sell your vision, you sell your business idea to a good number of people who can actually align with the mission and vision of that business or that idea that you're intending to drive. Because you cannot fully drive an idea alone. Depending on the scale of business you're working on, the type of business you're working on, there are certain businesses that you can actually strive as a sole proprietor, right? You can just be one man and do your thing. But to be honest, if you want to expand and grow, you would need a team. So if you're in, say, the fashion industry, like our fine speaker earlier said, she's in the fashion industry, I'm sure she started alone, and then along the line, there are employees, there's a supply chain. So to pass, if you want to make a difference on a certain impact, a certain scale, then you need people who would align with that mission and purpose of your business to drive it with you. And that's exactly what I did. I brought in the team, sold the vision to them, they agreed and aligned with that vision and mission, and then we started to continue. And because we didn't have money, all of us really young people, mostly entry and mid-level, in the workspace, so we didn't have all the resources. And we knew that we had to meet people who we didn't want to just give up our business idea to, because Nigeria, as nice as it is, you also have to be very clever because it can be some kind of lion's den as well. So you have to be very, very careful who you are, telling your idea to, because tomorrow some billionaire you sold your idea to can just start doing exactly what you did, and you're still, looking for funds and you're pushed out of it. I mean, ideas are limitless. Don't let that scare you. But you just have to be very careful while meeting people. And then we sought for help from Code Hubs Limited. So we knew that our business was very capital intensive, very asset heavy. So we met with Code Hubs Limited. Code Hubs is the biggest player in Nigeria when it comes to cold storage. They have like huge cold storage systems, that preserve fresh fruits and vegetables, meat and meat products, dairy products, whatever it is, to be honest, that requires refrigeration in the agro space. And to construct one of those cold rooms cost about $65,000 as at last year. It might be more now. I mean, where could I find that money? And then we met with the CEO through a connection that we had made somewhere. So that's another point that you have to note. Be very mindful of networking. It's very important. When you attend an event, it's very important that you build a network with as many people as possible, because you don't know when those networks are going to come handy. I know a lot of people collect a lot of complimentary cards. Oh, hey, your speech was nice. Hi, what's your name? Where do you work? And we never really follow up. Now, when I make a connection, I am very key on following up. So there's something I read in this book now. I think 7 Habits of Highly Successful People or Influential People. You know that book? Anyone knows that book? So now, one of those habits is think win-win, and the other one is begin with the end in mind. You can actually call on that person and say, hey, I think your expertise is needed here. I think I need you to connect me to this person that I need, because I see that you and this person have a certain relationship. Maximize LinkedIn as well. So we met with him and sold the idea to him, the CEO of Code Hubs. He is very interested in helping young startups to survive. And he saw that that idea was amazing. And he shook hands with us, and that partnership gave us access to 2 storage systems, one in Ibadan and the other in Lagos. So we didn't stop at that. One of the visions of our business was we wanted to reduce post-harvest loss along the entire food value chain and also reduce food waste. And we knew that the first step to doing that is to create a ready market for smallholder farmers, because that is the very first point of waste. And now, these smallholder farmers in northern Nigeria, we actually built a network of about 35 of them and counting so far. So what we do is we aggregate all of their, most of their fresh harvested products. We transport by a cooling van, which we also got through the partnership with Code Hubs, like a 10-ton capacity cooling van, into the cold room. And then we have, should I say, a last mile cold chain network, which has, tricycles and, bikes. We call them cold bikes and cold tricycles because they're insulated, can hold charge for up to 8 hours. So whatever it is that's fresh that you put in there is going to remain fresh up until 8 hours, right? So we're using that for our, what's it called now? Last mile logistics in Ibadan and in Lagos, Nigeria. So what am I trying to say? That this startup might be 9 months, 10 months old, but we have done so well. Why? Because we thought, we ideated, we planned, we built strategy, and we were agile. Always remember, you cannot, whatever it is you're planning in strategy cannot be cast in stone, right? Because now you can build a very amazing strategy today, and then when you go into the field, it might just be not, it just wouldn't be it, right? So you have to be agile. By agile, who understands agile now? Right? Okay, so I'm going to explain a little bit. Okay, fine, a few people. So being agile basically just means being flexible, being result-oriented. It's more like some kind of project management methodology. You can just do that research on your own, but it's just very important for teams to be agile in a fast-paced economy. Our economy is like super fast-paced, and emerging economies are always like that, right? So that's what we are doing at Fresh Fair. Um, and about ideating a business, I'm going to go over this again. You identify the problem, you build strategy, you grow a team, you constantly revisit your goals, analyze, re-strategize, because you'll never get it figured out. There is never a point as a startup that you feel like, okay, I've got to that point of equilibrium, or okay, now I'm not learning anything more, I'm just, self-sufficient. I mean, that can be a window, maybe just a few seconds or a few minutes, and then you have to re-strategize because the market is changing all the time, and you must grow and nurture your business to be that which you want it to become. I can actually go on and on and on.